Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Before we dive in and introduce our amazing speakers, I'd like you all to take a moment and reflect on a question. What is the biggest challenge you face in your customer service operations today? Is it reducing service costs? Is it improving operational agility? Is it perhaps enhancing your customer experience? Or managing service disruptions? Or manage to the ever-evolving regulatory standards? These are some of the challenges why we are gathered here, and we'll discuss how conversational AI is transforming customer services in the utilities industry, an industry where reliability and responsiveness are paramount, and AI is helping bridge gap between customer expectations and service delivery. I'm honored to present our esteemed speakers today, Quinn, Chris, and Rajesh. Thank you for your time and amazing insights today. Chris, I'm going to hand this over to you to take us forward.
Yeah, so I think, Quinn, are you leading us forward here?
Yeah, I can kick us off. So hi, everybody. Quinn Agan here, Vice President of Business Development at Omilia. I'll be taking us through a couple slides around the solution and where we add value in the contact center, and more specifically in the context of the utilities and energy industry. And I'm accompanied today by Chris and Rajesh. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
And hey, everybody, this is Chris Adamitis. I'm the Global Director of Solution Consulting for Omilia. Again, kind of working with Quinn to serve the needs of the energy industry. Excited to be here with you all. Rajesh.
Yep. Thank you, Chris. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Rajesh Sahu. I'm working as a solutions architect for the contact center technologies with PSEG. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Chris. All right, so I think we can go to the next slide here. Ultimately, what we're going to talk about today is the role that conversational AI, generative AI, and voice biometrics can play in the contact center, again, with a focus on the energy and utilities industry. But before we sort of move forward, just a brief tidbit about Omilia. So we are a leader in the conversational AI space. We focus on driving value in three key areas. The first being automation in the contact center. So for folks that want to call in or chat, whether that be over the phone or web chat or a mobile app or even social media, we can understand customer requests following a "how may I help you" question, and ultimately focused on providing what we call enhanced fulfillment, ultimately looking to allow customers to self-service as much as possible when and where it makes sense, not only for the customer, but also for the business. We also focus on reducing fraud. Fraud has unfortunately continued to grow over the last few years and has become a more serious problem across all enterprises. But we do have some pretty cool tools that allow us to not only monitor, but also detect and fight against fraud looking to be performed in the contact center. And then the third thing that we do is we empower agents, right? So beyond the automation and beyond the fraud, we leverage the same AI brain that does or basically supports the automation through natural language understanding and free speech. We use that same engine to also provide agent assist solutions. So we'll get into a little more of what that looks like as we go through the slides here. But essentially, the cool thing about Omilia is that it's a fully native platform. So all of the key components, the speech to text, the text to speech, natural language understanding, dialogue management, generative AI, everything's bundled into a single platform. And what that allows us to do is make all of these technologies really work together in unison This is in comparison to what you might find as more of like an API service-driven approach with a sort of a myriad of vendors out there. When you bring everything into a single platform, you get to be able to really deliver the benefits and the performance that's really on par with a human that you see over there on the right side of the slide. So on average, we're looking at about 95% accuracy in terms of understanding what the customer wants to do, 40% increase in self-service usage. So that is thanks to the ability for the technology to bring more self-services online, make new self-services available to customers, and also even for the self-services that already exist, we allow customers to get more out of those self-services because the technology makes it easier for the customer to complete what they're looking to do. The key word here is containment. Some folks refer to it as mitigation. We like to refer to it as fulfillment, enhanced fulfillment. And that is how many calls or chats come into the contact center and how many basically get serviced without going to a live human, right? So ultimately, that's the key business driver, is how many sessions can we fulfill ultimately without needing to engage a human on the phone. And then when we do, how do we make that interaction between the human agent and the customer more efficient so that the customer gets what they need faster and the agent can move on to the next phone call. So some of the benefits that we see from an operations perspective is not only a reduction in handle time, but because the platform is all in one, the time that it takes us to develop and bring these services online is about 70% less than a lot of the, let's say, multi-purpose conversational AI solutions that are out there. Next slide, please. All right. So just sort of drilling in on the solution, conversational voice and conversational chat, that's the advanced voice and chat virtual assistant. We're going to talk about how we've deployed the virtual assistant, for PSEG and the benefits that we were able to deliver. I've touched on the contact center security. So that's the ability not only to detect fraud, but also make the customer journey easier and more personalized through biometrics, right? So that's being able to identify and validate that the person on the phone is indeed the person that we are supposed to be talking to, and we don't have to ask the same 3 or 4 questions every time that we call in, right? So with that, these get bundled together in this unified native platform. We also have end-to-end analytics, which really give us that 30,000-foot view of what is the customer journey like? Are customers being satisfied? How fast are they getting through the system? What are the levels of automation, task completion? And it allows us to really drive this continuous cycle of improvement of the virtual assistant, whether that be voice or chat, as well as the contact center security. And then last but not least, you have the agent assist, where again, as I said, it's the same platform, the same brain, if you will, that not only powers the virtual assistant automation, but also the real-time agent assist, so that agents can get answers to questions faster. They spend less time, looking through a multitude of applications on their screen, and can ultimately focus on talking to the customer and having the AI present the appropriate information in front of them as the conversation is unfolding. So what we're really looking at here is an end-to-end value from the start of an interaction, again, whether it be a phone call or a chat, all the way through to whether the customer is fulfilled in an automated fashion or they end up with a live human to get serviced. And again, all of this is powered by our state-of-the-art proprietary technology, natural language understanding, speech to text, text to speech, dialogue management, and of course the voice biometrics. Next slide, please. Okay, so sort of covered off on the points around what the solution consists of. that's great. But, at Omilia, we really like to focus on what value we're bringing to the table, right? So we have this concept of customer journeys and really focusing on optimizing the customer journey, right? So how do we do that? We have a no-code platform. So that's why it takes us about 70% less time to bring an application online, coupled with the fact that we offer so much out of the box. And we'll see in the next slide here, or next couple slides, we do have industry packages. So today we're going to be focusing on energy and utilities and all of the great value and assets that we provide out of the box for the energy and utilities industry. This is a develop once and deploy everywhere platform. So it's true omni-channel. You have the same platform, the same application managing all of your interactions, whether it's voice or chat, and across any of the channels that I mentioned earlier, right? IVR, web, mobile app, social media, etc. Now, the voice AI, the chat AI, and the voice biometrics is great, but it's one piece of the puzzle, right? The pre-built integrations that we have with the leading CCaaS vendors, such as NICE, for example, allow us to go to market seamlessly and have really a native integration with the cloud contact center providers, as well as CRMs like Salesforce, for example. And essentially, again, at the end of the day, what we really focus on is driving value in the fastest way possible, right? So that means, bringing a solution online, if it takes you 2 years and costs you $3 million, it's really hard to drive a return on investment and a strong business case. So the importance of having a platform that allows you to not only develop your virtual assistant, but launch it to market in a couple months and be able to iterate and continuously improve without having a team of data scientists or a team of speech scientists really is what allows us to unlock the real business benefit that's been promised by a lot of these technologies for many years. Next slide, please. So I did mention that one of the cool things about Omilia is that we have out-of-the-box packages for a variety of industries, banking, insurance, healthcare. Today, we're going to be talking about utilities, and we're joined by my dear friend Rajesh from PSEG. The value that we provide out of the box specifically for the energy and utilities industry is as follows, right? So we are guaranteeing 24/7 service availability. That includes when there's storms, right? When you may have outages, folks are calling in because there's a tree down, a line down, there's no power at the house, and being able to service customers at a time when the stress can be high is ultimately very important to making sure that the customers feel that they're supported by the energy company. That includes easily handling call spikes, right? So again, when there's an incident like a storm or things like that, call volumes go up. So being able to have a platform that can support massive amounts of calls, we're talking tens or hundreds of thousands of calls simultaneously without the call center or the IVR falling down is again hugely important. And specifically for utilities, because it's a highly regulated industry, there are serious repercussions if a call center were to fall down at a time of an emergency. And we do want to make sure that we're personalizing service. And so because the platform allows for what we call white glove personalization from a natural language perspective, as well as when you incorporate those voice biometrics to be able to understand really who you're talking to and personalize that experience, again, whether it's on the phone or over chat, and tailoring how you speak to the customer. It drives not only the customer satisfaction, but also the levels of fulfillment that you can achieve, right? And then all of this, of course, translates into the business benefit, right? Which ultimately, at the end of the day, the technology is great, and we do want to deliver a better customer experience, but we also want to reduce costs, right? And so increasing or improving, the service quality and at the same time decreasing costs is something that traditionally has been a bit of an oxymoron, right? You would have to pay a lot of money to improve the customer service. With Omilia, you get the best of both worlds. You reduce costs and you increase the quality of service that you're providing to your customers. And again, all of that is coupled with the additional layer of fraud prevention. Contact centers are known today to be basically the weakest link in the, let's say, the front door space of any large enterprise. I'm sure there are, many call centers out there getting hundreds of robocalls a day, scraping IVRs to try to collect, information on users. So being able to have a solution that has things like liveness detection, making sure that the audio that we're hearing over the phone isn't synthetic speech. It's not a replay attack, right? It's not just the voice biometrics. It's also being able to tell that the audio that we're hearing on the other end of the phone is not a robocall or some type of other malicious actor. Next slide, please. So to double click on what we offer out of the box for utilities and the energy industry. So when you think about your voice virtual assistant, right? Ultimately, what is that virtual assistant doing? It's the front door. It's answering the phone or picking up the chat session with the customer. Hello, welcome to PSEG. How can I help you? Right? So the first thing that the bot's going to do is figure out the intent, confirm the intent with the customer, and then ultimately look to complete the automation of that, of what the customer is looking to do, or collect as much information up front before ultimately handing the call over to the human agent. And so where we add value here, where we drive a lot of value, is all of the intents and the flows that we offer out of the box for utilities, right? So when you choose Omilia as your conversational AI platform for utilities, we have hundreds of intents that we offer out of the box and a myriad of self-service flows that can easily be adapted to your business. You just have to plug them in to your backend, to your own APIs, so that we can, communicate with the enterprise backend and actually provide the fulfillment of these types of services, right? So some of the big ticket items here, obviously change of address, usage information, scheduling an appointment, getting a balance inquiry. These are things that, if you're able to solve a lot of the, let's say, table stakes types of requests, you can easily achieve 60, 70, even 80% containment in your IVR, as long as we have the web services on the back end side to power the flows that we bring to the table. So it's not only the value that we provide from a self-service perspective, but the fact that you don't have to develop all of this from scratch is a huge time save and a huge cost save when you think about what is the investment that it takes to bring these types of services online. So I think we may be moving to some questions or the demo. Yes, I think there's a poll. So is everybody seeing the poll?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the first question is, what's the biggest challenge you face in your customer service operations? Is it reducing service costs, improving operational agility, enhancing customer experience, managing service disruptions and call spikes, or meeting data privacy and regulatory standards?
And we'll go ahead and let that run in the background while we move on to Chris's portion of the demonstration.
Absolutely. So I think what I'll do is I'll start by sharing my screen, which then should allow me to kind of show you what this looks like in a real environment when we're taking live calls, and you get a sense for how customers PSE&G are using this functionality in real time. You'll notice on the left-hand side of my screen, I've got a connection to my phone, just happens to be wired into my computer. And then Now, on the right-hand side, you have the Omilia software that can observe the call taking place as I am dialing in live. So I'm just going to go ahead and give you an example of what a live experience looks like, just for a frame of reference for everybody.
Welcome to Omilia Energy. I'll be your virtual assistant. How can I help you today?
Yeah, hi, I'm calling to report an outage.
You are successfully verified by your voice print. I'll send you a text message with a link where you can see the exact location of the outage you are reporting. Please follow the instructions, and I'll stay on the line.
So at this point, I'm just, as you can see on my phone, clicking the interface and submitting the location of my outage.
Okay. Let's see. Power issue is due to a problem at a substation. We apologize for the inconvenience. Our crews will work as quickly as possible to evaluate the issue and restore service. Messages are normally restored within 4 hours. Would you like us to call you for updates regarding the issue?
Yes, please.
I see that you're calling from 313-402-9489. Is this the number you'd like us to call you back on?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Noted. Again, we apologize for any inconvenience this might be causing. Is there something else I can help you with?
Yeah, I'd like to book an appointment with one of your experts.
Okay, let's see. We can do Friday, October 25th or later. When would you like to book the appointment?
Tomorrow morning.
2 slots available, at 8 a.m. or at 9 a.m. Which one suits you best?
Can we do it in the afternoon?
We have 2 slots available, at 1 p.m. or at 2 p.m. Which one suits you best?
1 p.m.
Your appointment will be set for Friday, October the 25th at 1 p.m. Shall I proceed?
Yes, please.
Your appointment with our financial advisor is all set up. I just sent you an SMS. Your appointment details. Can I help you with something else?
No, thank you very much.
Thank you for calling our services. Goodbye.
And just at the highest level, to kind of put some of these things into perspective, you'll notice that everything was very open-ended. I could change my mind. I didn't have to really follow a script. I didn't have to measure every word I gave the system. I can simply speak normally conversationally. And then we also try to leverage the fact that there's many different channels in which we can speak with people. In other words, I can pick up their location from their phone or other bits of elements that can be available for a live experience like this. Certainly, we would love a chance to talk to any of you about more of this functionality. And I think maybe a great next segue would be for me to hand this over to Rajesh, who can speak into some more detail about what PSE&G has been able to do for their consumers using this experience.
Yep. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Quinn. Great presentations, great demos. If you can go to the next slide. Hey, thank you. And hello again, everyone. So, Quinn and Chris mentioned about the product, and I'm from PSEG. So let's start with what is PSEG, what we do, right? So we are PSEG, we are Public Service Enterprise Group. We are the largest provider of electric and gas services in New Jersey. Public service is not just in our name, it's who we are, it's what we do. We are the folks available 24/7, answering thousands of calls during extreme weather conditions or the storm events that Quinn pretty much talked about, working hard late at night to ensure our customers are powered on. So here in New Jersey, we serve approximately 2.4 million of electric customers and 1.9 million of gas customers, uh, covering nearly three quarters of New Jersey's population. So, talking about the call center volumes, ESCG call center receives approximately around 25 to 30,000 calls per day, which is almost around more than 6.5 million inbound calls per year. Any given day, we have around 300 to 400 agents working at call center, and this number can be increased based on the needs, especially during the severe weather conditions. From the call center perspective, right, these are the huge volumes. And I'm glad we have the Omilia conversational IVR solutions in place as very first gate to answer these calls and help our customers self-serve themselves. So next slide, please. Okay, challenges and business requirements. So it's almost 18 months now we have implemented the Omilia conversational AI and running our call center. So what made us to implement Omilia conversational AI solutions and where we were earlier, right? Pretty much clean answer, why we chose Omilia. So just to compare, in our older contact center solution, it was an outdated solution and on-prem solution that was lacking the capabilities to provide the end-to-end visibility of the operations and lacking the capabilities to capture the full customer journey, which is very crucial from the business insights perspective. Also, our legacy system was also not very much capable of providing the best support during any significant storm event because it was not very much scalable. So what we were looking to improve our contact center operations is the cloud-based solutions, which is kind of scalable, flexible, modern. We were looking for a truly conversational IVR, which improves the customer experience and the containment. Pretty much, Quinn also talked about the containment. We were looking at solutions which brings the real-time analytics as why customers are calling and what are the intents and how to treat them, right? A solution which is quick to adjust the conversation flows without much of software developments. So pretty much we were looking for a CCAS solution and a natural language solution. And then, we found Omilia, as best fit to our requirements for a natural language IVR solutions. And I must say, ever since we have implemented, Omilia conversational AI solutions, we are definitely seeing some great results, at least in terms of, the better visibility, the enhanced customer experience, the continuous learning, right? So we'll talk about all these, value realizations and the benefits again in the further slides. But before we go to the next slides, maybe Jamie, I would request for a poll asking what is the biggest challenge that you face in your customer service operations. Yep. So, what do you think? How do you see conversational? Right. So this is the poll, right? How is the conversational AI impacting the future of customer service in your organizations? To participate in the polls, while we will continue talking about the benefits that we have at least realized. So next slide, please. Okay. Yep. So results. So like I mentioned, the very first and the very immediate benefits that we realized after implementing Omilia conversational AI was the better visibility. The real-time interactions and the live call monitorings, it really helped us to deliver the high-quality customer interactions. With the Omilia solutions, we had the insights as why customers are calling, what are the intents, how to serve them, what are they looking for, can this be handled within IVR? Can this be contained? Or this is something that should be transferred to agent? If it has to be transferred to agent, are we transferring it to the right group, right? So we had answers to all these questions now, and knowing all these behaviors and insights really helped us in identifying the gaps and increase the containment. Also, on the other hand, it also helped us with scammers identifications, and it helped us to take immediate action. What we did after you know implementing these solutions, at least we had designed a customized report that actually sent us the number of times any phone number that is calling us every day, and repetitive calls from the same number on the same day is most likely scammers, and that's what like we used to review and we used to take immediate action. So it helped us with identifying the scammers and the fraud calls. So definitely the better visibility to customer interactions really helped to deliver the high quality service. Next slide, please. Okay. The next immediate benefits that we realized was, I must say, like the enhanced customer experience. So now in the IVR solutions, right, we know the intents of customer calls. We know why they're calling. So if we have to transfer the calls to agents, then we know where to send, which group would be the best fit for that customer needs. So actually, Omilia helped us to improve our call routing accuracy. Better routing of calls helped to reduce average handling time, which is a crucial metric for our contact center. Because now customers are going straight forward to the right agent, right department, and they don't have to hop to multiple groups, right? That leads to the frustrations. So now we had the control over that. Just to give you an example, before going live with Omilia solutions and the CCAS, and versus what happened after implementing like the Omilia solutions, right? We were able to reduce the call volumes for one of our contact center department from 40% of volumes down to 15% of the volume. It was a good, great, immediate improvements, I would say, just by knowing the intents and accurately transfer it to the right group. We were able to achieve this number. On the other hand, also another example is what we were able to achieve immediately was enhance the customer experience by excellent storm handling. So for any utility company, right, providing the best support to customers during the extreme weather conditions are the most priority item. This is the time when you want to ensure customers are served and handled and provided with the services and they are satisfied. So in the older version of IVR, it was not very much scalable for us, right? So when there's an increase in call volumes, what we used to do is we used to turn off our regular IVR and we used to switch to HBCA, high volume call answering, where customer had very limited options to interact with IVR, which was very limited options like, report power outage and emergencies issues and all. So they didn't have the full IVR functionalities available. So with Omilia IVR, due to it is scalable, flexible, so far we are able to achieve 100% of IVR functionalities available all the time, including during the severe weather conditions. So whatever the storm situations we have faced so far, we never had to switch to HBCA. Omilia is able to handle all the loads and provide the best customer experience. So with that, the next slide, please. Okay, yeah. Third, but not, maybe the third benefits, last but not the least, I would say, is with the Omilia solutions, we have the opportunities for the continuous improvements. So Omilia solutions captures every bit of interaction details in the logs, which really helps us to know, what is happening in the system, what the request is being treated, how is the request is being treated, how is the performance, how the backend system is interacting, are there any gaps. It's not only helping us to know about the customer's behavior, but also how the calls flowing through systems, that we have every bit of details. So knowing all these details really helps you with the continuous improvements and everyday learning. The best part is, the Omilia logs, like whatever the Chris was, demonstrating, we can just from that screen only, we can go to the logs where you have all the details, every microseconds of details are there. It is very easy to read, and it is very easy to analyze. So you don't really need to be a technical person, right, to understand those logs. It's like, any business users also can understand. So that is a very good plus point, I would say, which helped us going through those logs and identify what is happening, how can we improve, how we can better bring the continuous improvement. So analyzing these logs definitely, it brings great opportunities for continuous improvements, which helps to fine tune your system. It helps to improve the behaviors, increase the customer experience, and increase the contentment. And that is what we need for the contact center mostly, right? So I would say these are the quick benefits and the value realizations that we have with the Omilia right after the implementing the solutions, as well as down the line so far. And we are, keep improving ourselves. We are keep learning, and we are keep focusing how can we bring the best customer experience and the better contentment. So with that, the next slide, please. Let's talk about some journey and the lesson learned. Yep. So like I mentioned, right, our older legacy system was a on-prem solution, which was kind of outdated and scattered and multi-vendor dependent. Um, the most problematic was it was not scalable and not very much suitable to meet the business needs. So we were looking for a secure, scalable, flexible, I would say the reliable and the single vendor kind of solution. And from the IVR perspective, a truly conversational IVR solution, which brings the real time analytics and the end to end view of the customer journey. So kind of Omilia tick mark all the requirements that we had, and that's how we implemented the Omilia conversational AI solutions, and the journey is great. During all these journey, definitely we have few lesson learned. So after we implemented this Omilia solutions and after we went live with the solutions, right, we had to extend the hypercare, right? So whatever the period of hypercare we had to extend it. Why? Because after going live with Omilia solutions, we had exposures to too much of customers' informations, and it was too much to digest and process. We wanted to ensure, we are getting best out of the solutions that we have implemented. We wanted to learn through that. We wanted to understand that, and we wanted to make sure we are kind of implementing the best solution out of the product that we have implemented. So that's how we had to extend the hypercare support. The second lesson learned, I would say, down the line, we have realized so far is, it's good to get trained on the Omilia platform. The Omilia OCP platform they have, it's good to be trained to be self-sufficient. What we realized is you have exposures to so much of customers' behaviors and customers' journey. You know about each steps. You have the details of every microsecond. So what is happening. So now you are tempted to make the changes. You are tempted to bring the improvements. You are tempted to, touch base each of the journey, and how can you bring the improvements, throughout this IVR process. So, we literally end up getting a big list of product backlogs, and we wanted to implement everything. And for that, we have to go to Omilia and implement these improvements and enhancements kind of every day or in the agile approach. But we thought in parallel, it's good to get trained on this platform and let's learn so that we also can do the developments ourselves. We also know the platforms, so we plan to build the in-house skills and capabilities so that we can also bring these changes as per the need, along with Omilia vendor is always there to support. So these are the best few things I really wanted to talk. So before we open to take any questions, right, I must say that Omilia's solutions that we have implemented, and throughout this journey, it's a very good outcomes that we are seeing. It's a strong AI-enabled IVR solution, which has the great capabilities and is a future-ready solutions, which enables you to bring great customer service and great experience. So that's all from my side. I think next we can go to the questions and answers, please.
Rajesh, thank you so much. And to you, Chris and Quinn, for walking us in the great demo. Jamie, I'll open it up now for questions to the audience. Did you want to review our polls with the audience as well?
Yeah, absolutely. We can publish those. Share the results to the first one, where we asked what the biggest challenge folks are facing in their customer service operations. Customer experience, pretty high up there, as well as managing service disruptions and call spikes was up there. And then
Yep, and I agree. From the customer perspective, if you ask me, definitely the customer experience matters. Everybody will first think about bring the best customer experience. If you have the best customer experience, rest everything would be good. The satisfaction index, or you will feel whatever the investment you have made to these AI solutions, the conversational solutions, or anything to the contact center technologies, I would say you will think it's paid off. So definitely the customer experience matters the most, and I agree with the results.
All right, then we can share the other one briefly and how folks see conversational AI impacting the future of customer service in their organization. So some equal votes for enhancing self-service, some votes for automation, being able to free their agents up to focus on other things, maybe more human to human, plus a couple of votes here for the other ones.
Correct. And again, for this one, definitely the future is going towards the more of the self-service, more of the digital, more of the AI-enabled solutions, where people are able to talk to machine, people are able to self-serve themselves, and they don't really need to wait in the queue for 10, 15, 20 minutes to talk to a person, right? So that's the future for sure. And I think the another aspect of contact center in the future is how kind of a vision of human-free call center. That that's the future where it is going. Where the idea is, it should be more and more contained within the IVR system by the technologies and less interactions with the agents at the call center. So ideally, I would say all the industry is looking towards the solutions where until unless it is emergency type of calls or the very complex type of calls, it should not go to agent. It should be all handled within the IVR by the conversational AI, by the machine. And if it is really something, a need, a type of call where it is a complex call, the emergency calls which requires the human attention, then only it should be routed to the agent. So I agree with the audience here, the kind of polls result that we see.
Yeah, and I think maybe just to add on that, Rajesh, I think what you're describing is really our vision for the future as well. There's always going to be things that for reasons unrelated to the technology, you're going to want to handle with a human, right? There's sensitive things like, closing an account because someone passed away, right? You might not want to automate that, that interaction. But it's important to have a platform that can allow you to go up to 100% containment if that's what you want as the business. And ultimately, where we see things going in the future, to Rajesh's point, is people talk today. There's a lot of talk around agent assist and co-pilot. But where we really see the market going is actually you're going to have the agent assist is going to be sort of reversed. You'll have a scenario where you actually have an agent in the background assisting the bot, right? And the bot will be learning based on sort of the direction that it's given by the human, ultimately getting us to that point where you don't necessarily need the human in the loop at all, right? So that's sort of the vision for the future. I think that's definitely the track that we're on here today.
Fantastic. And Kavita had to hop off, so I'm going to help close this out. We do have a couple of questions that came in. I think these first couple might be more specific to Quinn and Chris. But then there's another one I think that all three of you guys could address from either side. First one came in through the Q&A, and the person wanted to know, how tolerant is the technology with regional accents or foreign languages? For example, in the UK, there's a large variation of English language accents.
Yeah, I can answer that. So when we bring languages online, we train them with a lot of data. And the data that we train the models with is from real contact centers, right? And so the models have been built on real life contact center audio. And so that includes all types of not only accents and lingo, but also background noise, side speech, everything that you're going to encounter in the wild. That is exactly the audio that the models have been trained off of. So we average about a 3% word error rate. So if you flip that on its head, our speech to text is about 97% accurate. And today we offer 30 languages. We refer to languages on a regional level. So for example, we have UK English, US English, or Spanish for Spain versus sort of a variety of different Spanish models for Latin America. So yeah, it's definitely robust, but the reason that it's robust is because of the data that it's built off of.
Wonderful. Thank you. I think a follow-up for you, Quinn, is a question about how Omilia is using LLMs and generative AI today or in its roadmap.
Yeah, good question. So we have LLMs embedded throughout the platform. One of the things that is important for large enterprises, specifically highly regulated industries, is being able to choose when, where, and how much generative AI you use. And that does not mean just putting the LLM in front of the customer and hoping for the best. We actually use generative AI throughout the life cycle of bringing the bot online, tuning the bot, and then augmenting when the bot's not understanding something that the business didn't necessarily program it to. So we use generative AI in the developer sense to allow us to bring the solution online faster. And then we use generative AI in the runtime or in production to augment sort of that traditional NLU framework to take us from 95% accuracy, upwards to 97, 99, and ultimately drive again that continuous cycle of continuous improvement, but also continually bringing new self-services and experiences online.
Fantastic. Chris, I don't know if you want to, Quinn covered it, but just holding space for you.
The other thing I would mention is that a lot of customers who encounter generative AI and large language models tend to see them in the experience of Chat GPT. Omilia has been doing AI for 25 years at this point, right? So we know how those techniques can do essentially three things. They can take our existing methodology, which is so accurate and true to life that relatively little change has happened since we've been launching AI using our tool set. But then we can say, generative, I want you to make the bot sound more human. Generative, I want you to save me tedious, wasted time, launch me faster. And generative, I want you to handle more interesting non sequiturs. An example might be you're in a drive-through, you're ordering some food. That's pretty straightforward. We want a strong AI model to do that. But then a person says, hey, especially if you're me, is that gluten-free, dairy-free? That's when you want to get the generative model to go out there and just take an unstructured question. So the key thing for Omilia, and the key thing you should look for in any AI provider is, are they offering you pixie dust? Or do they have a real plan for how the generative models make a strong AI methodology? That's a key thing you can ask anybody you work with in this space.
Excellent. Okay, and then I think this last one we could have all three of you speak to. Quinn, you and Chris from Omilia's side, but I think potentially Rajesh from the customer side as well. And that is, how does Omilia help businesses safely adopt generative AI or avoid its associated risks?
That's
Maybe I'll go ahead, Quinn.
You can take that one, Chris.
I'll do it very straightforward. And I think you should ask the question to all of us. We focus on two things. What has worked well at other customers? When and where we can save you time and not repeat past mistakes, we're going to guide you there. So if we say, hey, that's a great idea and it would be amazing and other customers have succeeded this way, you're always going to get that advice, from us. And the other thing that you'll know as you work with us, you talk with our references, we are categorically focused on making a good business model. We're going to get you an ROI and we're going to make that ROI stick. Because in the end, there's a million different AI providers out there. Every one of them wants to make you responsible for the AI working. We're one of the few providers that comes in and says that we will get it where it needs to be. And so sorry, Quinn, I think I was talking over you there earlier, bud.
Oh, no, that's a good answer. Rajesh?
Yep, I agree. And from the client perspective, I don't think we ever need to bother whether it is working, not working, safe, reliable. I think it is all okay. It's always the way it is from the client perspective we want it to be. So so far we don't see any challenges, any problems as such. It's all going, everything, every bit of security or anything, I would say, is well managed by Omilia.
Excellent, very good. I'll give folks a few more seconds, another minute here or so. If there's any questions that are popping up in your brain. Otherwise, Quinn, Chris, Rajesh, I don't know if you have any closing thoughts here that you wanted to mention before we close it out.
I think it's a great discussions, great demo. So thanks everybody for the time.
Yeah, we appreciate everybody joining us. Again, Quinn and Chris and the Omilia team will be joining us on site at Voice and AI and GovAI Summit in Arlington next week, next Monday to Wednesday. It's coming up quickly here. So if you're able to join us at the Hyatt Regency in Crystal City, be sure to stop by and say hi to the Omilia folks. They'll be participating in the program and on the media interview stage and in a number of places throughout the event. So we're super grateful for their partnership and support and participation. Grateful to Quinn and Chris and Rajesh today for making the time with all of you. And otherwise, hope everybody has a great rest of your day. Thank you, gentlemen. And we'll close this out here.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody.
Thank you all.
Take care.